buying the one that got away. I'd like to ramble a little bit today about this recent pickup of mine. This is the discontinued turtle. The reference is the SRPC23. It has a beautiful anthracite dial. This first debuted about 6 years ago and has been discontinued for quite a while now. And they are hard to come by. At least they're hard to come by with an aligned bezel. For whatever reason, this one was just notorious for really bad misalignment. Now, I bought this used from a German Seiko collector in Germany who bought it new himself. So this one does have the nicer presentation box and the German alternate language wheel for the day and the date complication on the dial. Now, I know it's a subjective opinion, but this is the best Seiko turtle released to date. I know a lot of fans love the King turtle. They love the Night series. They love a good Patty or a good Save the Ocean turtle. But this one is a timeless classic. There is no ceramic here. There is no thick bezel or bezel grip. There's no sapphire crystal, no widescreen cyclops. It's not a $600 plus priced turtle like new ones are these days. This one has a downward sloping aluminum bezel insert. And this example has a little bit of wear. You can see a nice little ding here in the bezel. And you know what? I actually think a worn looking bezel on a tool diver like this looks good, especially over the years as you garner some scratches and some dings and dents, and then the black color kind of fades to more of a ghosted gray. I think that's awesome, and I'm looking forward to that happening on this SRPC23. Now, this also has the original diver color scheme for Seiko. They came out with the 62 MAS back in 1965, and that had an anthracite dial with a black bezel insert and silvered bezel indexing. So I like the fact that this is the classic original color scheme. It's so versatile. It looks really good. When it comes to the crystal material, this is Seiko's proprietary Hardlex, which essentially is a mineral crystal that's been hardened. It will be easier to scratch than sapphire, but for whatever reason, this has a clearer, less reflective look to it than sapphire does. So outside of natural light or under LED lighting, you're not seeing as much reflections, and I think that's one of the reasons why the anthracite dial looks so good. Now, the color scheme is perfectly versatile. I've been wearing this a lot on a Z199 bracelet made by Uncle Straps, the original Z199 Seiko bracelet from the 7548 was one of the best or better bracelets that Seiko ever made. So I like that style paired with this SRPC23. I also bought a modern OEM turtle bracelet for the days that I want to mix it up a little bit and add some more weight and some more heft to the watch. Some days I do crave a hefty, weighty sports piece, as well as seeing the Seiko signature on the clasp. Now, I don't mind the Uncle logo, but the OCD in me just likes the uniform branding when I'm wearing a watch. This is also perfect on black rubber. I think that changes the look quite a bit. It makes it more casual. And then this also looks good on the old, custom Seiko nickname NATOs that I did several years ago in Lumibright green or blood red. In short, the watch just looks excellent on almost any strap, but my favorite has probably been the Z199. Now let's talk about the design of this piece. This is the modern, slightly larger homage to the original turtle, the 6309 reference, and that watch was an evolution of the 6105 Willard from the late 1960s through the mid 1970s or later 1970s. And that design is regarded as one of the coolest and most attractive early Seiko diver designs. It's very collectible today, so it's nice to see, how this has aged over the decades. I appreciate that. Now, here's the question. Why didn't I just buy this when it was in production, 5, 6 years ago? Why wait till now? Well, I think you might be able to relate to this. You know how it goes. Sometimes you just think that you have more time than you do, or other watches you're looking into take precedent. Maybe this is number 3 on the list and you're looking at the top 2 options. Or maybe you just don't find the right deal, and then seemingly out of nowhere it's discontinued, and then the secondary market pricing starts to rise. And that happened with me for this watch. I saw prices go as high as 700, 750, and I just did not want to pay double the original going rate. And as I also mentioned earlier, the SRPC23 was notorious for really bad alignment. And so anytime I saw an example pop up, I knew that I would have to take it to my watchmaker just to get it to, close to being aligned, because again, it was so out there. Most sellers these days, you can still find a few new on eBay or various other platforms, but they're all going to be out of Southeast Asia, and generally you're seeing stock pictures or old pictures or pictures at an angle that don't necessarily show the terrible alignment that this had. But apparently those made for the German market were much better in that regard, and I'm happy to say that this one looks perfect to me. I have no complaints when it comes to alignment. Now, I have kept my eye out over the years on Watch Recon. They don't pop up too often, or if they ever did, they weren't at a reasonable price or they didn't have the good alignment, and I had almost reserved myself to knowing that I would just never find one, but I'm really glad that I did. So what's the takeaway? What's the lesson learned? I think it just comes down to this. If you love a watch, jump on it while you can. Don't hem and haw. Don't wait for the, right time that you think is the right time. Some watches get discontinued much faster than others, at least when it comes to Seiko, and there will be no guarantee that you will find the right used example in the future. It could take years, unless maybe you overpay or you buy a poor example and then fix it up a little bit. In any situation, I don't think those are ideal. Now, why is this one a special watch to me? Really, you look at this, it's just a basic turtle. It has a terrible 4R movement. There is no sapphire, no ceramics. This one does have good alignment, like I mentioned, but it has a gross fiber in the hand stack that you can see here under the macro lens. It's not necessarily a nice watch or a luxury watch, but I look at this and I think it is the classic charm that draws me in. Seiko can be so dang enjoyable at the affordable price points. To me, this feels old school. This feels like value. It's sharp looking. It fits me well. For many years, Seiko was my favorite brand, and I think it will always hold a special place in my horological heart. And finally tracking this down, I think, has just made it worth it. So I think that this could easily be my one Seiko diver in my collection. It likely won't. I'll probably get an SLA Willard or yet another Marine Master 300 at some point in the future, or maybe a watch that Seiko has not designed yet that in future years will really captivate me. But here's the thing, even an expensive Seiko diver, however awesome it is, I don't think it ever really replaced the charm of the affordability of this SRPC23. Like I said before, this is a classic. This does have, some sort of draw to it that really captivates my imagination, and I'm glad to have it here. I've just been enjoying the heck out of it. In fact, this is the first time since getting the day date that a watch has taken over my wrist time for more than 1 week straight. Normally, I'm always going back to the day date, but this one has really been dominating recently, and I think that's a testament to how good it is. So shout out to Martin of the Mighty Marine Master handle on Instagram. He is the Seiko collector in Deutschland who sold me this beauty. If you like Seiko watches, I would suggest, following him on Instagram. I'll link him in the video description. Just in closing, let me ask you, do you have any similar experiences? Have you ever missed out on a favored watch? Have you ever had to track down a watch that always had your eye? Or have you ever had to source a hard-to-come-by watch? Are you with me on the charm of this SRPC23? Let me know your thoughts and experiences below. Thank you for watching today. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe for more rambles like this. Thank you.